Hello and welcome to the Connection Couch.
Today we're talking about links and the LinkedIn algorithm.
Stay tuned. Thanks for sticking around. My name is Ray Sorrell.
And I'm Jo Saunders.
She is.
I am.
We're talking about links today, aren't we, Jo?
We are.
Yeah.
Now, there was, if you've seen any of our previous episodes, when we're talking about content and what to share.
Of course they have.
You might, well, of course, you've seen all of them.
Yeah.
You watched them all yesterday to refresh as well. You might have seen me talk about the fact that links don't work on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to retract it. I'm just going to adjust that sort of statement.
Okay. Excellent.
So links can work on LinkedIn.
They can.
They can.
This is relatively a new development, isn't it?
It is. Now, I do a lot of testing with other LinkedIn experts and we compare notes. And I've been part of a test actually with Agora Pulse, testing links posted natively on LinkedIn versus scheduled. So you'll see that blog somewhere. We'll link to that in the comments. But one thing I want to share is that you don't have to do all the jiggery-pokery anymore.
Jiggery-pokery.
Yeah.
Excellent. No more jiggery-pokery.
No.
I'm not a lover of jiggery-pokery, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Well, now, you want to stick around to the end of the video because there is a time you need some jiggery-pokery.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's just one instance though, isn't it?
One main instance.
One main instance.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn when that instance is, stick around to the end. We'll
so
let you know then.
When not to share links on LinkedIn.
Excellent.
So there's one real time you want to go, nah, I'm not doing that. So hang around.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's unpack, as you like to use the phrase, links. So what are links?
Links?
Yeah, tell me what they are. Let's just basic stuff.
All right, so with content, you can create your own content, which might be a text post, it might be an image, it might be a video, it might be a poll, or you can curate content, which is essentially finding other people's content or your own content hosted elsewhere. So it's the URL, the link to that piece of content. So it could be your blog, it could be a video on YouTube, it could be a news article, it could be a link to your event, for instance. So it's a link is something external to LinkedIn.
I'll let a little plug there, events. We do have an events video, so that'll be up there in that link now. The link in the link, the events in the link. So
I totally planned that.
Check it out.
Totally planned that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you're sharing content from outside of LinkedIn to LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So up until recently, it didn't really work that well. They didn't promote, from what my understanding is, they didn't promote that post as much. Yeah,
well, it was almost penalised. And they would never admit that they penalise links. But when you do a lot of testing and talk to other people and compare notes, there was definitely evidence of it being penalised. Now, I used to say the two reasons. Used to be because, and this is obviously my interpretation of this, is LinkedIn likes you to stay in LinkedIn. Any social platform wants you to stay in a platform. Mm-hmm. It's where the ads are. It's where they want you to spend more time on the platform. But the other reason that LinkedIn, I'm going to say LinkedIn, so links don't work on LinkedIn is because users are lazy. If they have to click and go elsewhere to read the content, they're possibly not going to do that. So if you're not doing that, that means you're not getting the engagement, which is you're not feeding the algorithm, and then the algorithm is not showing that content in return. That's my interpretation from experience, but things have changed.
They have. I'm surprised by this, to be honest.
Well, so am I, actually.
I didn't think, for the very reason you just pointed out there, I didn't think they would, not allow, but let links do their thing.
Yes. Now, links, if you look at your own home feed firstly, and I do this often, I actually look at why things are in my home feed, and I'll look at the relationship to the person posting or the company posting. Are they a first level connection of mine? Am I following the person? But what I've noticed of late is there's a lot of what I call secondhand content. So I'll see a piece of content in my feed because Rach has liked it, so you've liked it, so I'm then seeing it. And often it's from a connection of mine anyway, but I'm seeing it in a secondhand sense. But a lot of this content is links. It is links to articles, and it's YouTube videos as well, which is kind of interesting. Now, when people share a link, or whether you share a link, if you share just the link alone, like or even if you say something like, oh, here's a great article about video marketing, and maybe a couple of hashtags, you haven't told me why I want to read it. Yeah, it's about video marketing, I know that, but I'm time poor. I don't have time to click and read this article. Now, just something that wasn't part of our agenda, I'm going to throw in is when you do share a link, one of the brand new features is it tells you the estimated read time.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is awesome,
Yeah.
game changer, because if you're sharing a link about video marketing, I don't know what the context is to this article other than you're recommending it, so of course I'm going to read it, because if you say it's good, it's going to be good. If the read time is 25 minutes, no. I'm not interested. But if the read time is 1 to 2 minutes, I've got a couple of minutes to spare to scan through. Now, that's if you're reading the article, it's on a word count basis. So I could scan through it, but 25 minutes, nah, that's a huge amount of time I don't have. So this only works for articles where there's a word count. Right. I don't believe it works for video yet. I'll say yet, because it might, by the time we publish this video, it might be out. So you've got that part. So users are lazy. You've got to tell people as to why. So if you're trying to promote your own content, your own blog, your own videos, your own events, some people are not going to click on it. And this is why it's super important in the content to actually treat it like a text post and tell people using my E cubed plus IC squared formula.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means, or shall I unpack it now?
Quickly unpack it now. It's sure fun. I wouldn't want to steal your thunder, Joe.
How many times can we use the word unpack? I don't know.
Oh, well.
Let's just milk it.
We can unpack that later on.
We will. So when you share a text post or any type of content on LinkedIn, you want to try to aim for one of the E's, if not all. So educate your audience, enlighten them, and evoke emotion.
Entertain, emotion.
Entertainment is. I used to have my 3 E's. The last one being entertain, but entertaining is one type of emotion. There are other emotions. Like entertaining works the best, I reckon, because if you can make people laugh, you got them in. But sometimes you want to get people thinking, or get them feeling something that's not funny, because not everything's funny. Particularly with Black Lives Matter. There's been Pride Month. There's stuff about mental health and well-being. Entertainment doesn't necessarily lend itself to that type of content. So sometimes you want to trigger a different type of emotion. So if you can do all 3, that's awesome. Often my content is how to use LinkedIn. It's not very emotional kind of content unless I bring it to a story. So you've got that. Plus you want to invite conversation and index your content, which is the IC squared. So inviting conversation, what do you reckon the best way of inviting conversation is, Reg?
Ask a question.
Yay, winning. You read the book. Excellent. Read the memo. So that's probably the easiest way. And then indexing your content is essentially using hashtags, the right hashtags. And we've got episodes all about hashtags. Watch them. The link's going to be there. Excellent. So when you're curating content, still do that, because not everybody's going to click on the link. Not everybody's got the time to read it. So if you can summarize that content in your own way using that framework, then you're onto a winner.
This would be a big thing for YouTube as well, because a lot of people like to share YouTube links.
Yes.
So those videos will now play within the feed, isn't it?
Yes. So it used to be that when you clicked on things, you had to go elsewhere, and YouTube videos didn't work, which is why back in the day, when we first started our channel, we had separate videos. We had the preview video, which was posted as a native video, which got more traction.
Yep.
And then we would do the hack.
We would do the hack, yes.
Now the hack, and this is something we don't have to do anymore, really. I mean, there are times you might want to do it, but essentially, if you want to share a link without sharing the link, you would create, say, the native post with the native image or the native video, or text only, post it, and then immediately go to the 3 dots, edit your post, put the link in, watch the full version of the episode here. So that's what we used to do. And we can still do that if we wanted to, but now you can, if you share the YouTube link into the feed, you can play it in the feed. But what does that mean to the YouTube algorithm?
Well, it's still a view. It still counts as a view. You're getting that analytic. You're getting that view count.
Okay.
So it's definitely helpful. But now there's, I shouldn't say more, because there's always been a stress, or emphasis, I should say, on the thumbnails. They're vitally important now, because those thumbnails will actually come through on your LinkedIn feed.
Yes.
So that's the 2 things you've really got to inspire a click, is the title and the thumbnail. Okay,
so when you share your YouTube link, once again, use the EQ plus IC squared framework to tell people who are not interested in watching video, because not everybody is going to watch video. But you've got
Who are these people, Joe? Tell me their names. I want to know their names.
But if you've got a video that's a half an hour long, not everybody's got that time.
No.
They might just want to consume the content in words. The image, though, is going to tell them what it's about, which which is going to be pulled from the thumbnail, so you want to get that right, and plus the title. But then if they actually watch the video, now you're tapping into people who are video consumers. Either they're going to listen to the video while they're multitasking, or they're going to watch the video. Now, if they're a watching the video person and they're in an environment where they can't listen, do you have any tips for video?
Subtitles, captions?
Yes. And you can put those into your YouTube, can't you?
You can, yeah. So you can download them from YouTube and upload them to LinkedIn. But
as a
obviously,
native. But what about with YouTube videos? So
well, it's playing as a YouTube video, so it should come up.
Yes, there you go. So you
just click on the little gear icon and make sure it's selected if it's not.
So you want to make sure when you're creating content or curating content that you're tapping into all the different communication styles of your audience, whether they're going to read it, whether they're going to scan it, whether they're going to listen or watch. So, yeah, you want to make sure that if you are going to use your video, you bring it all in.
All right, so how do we share links more effectively? What is some of the strategies? Have we covered that off, do you think?
Pretty much, yeah.
We have?
I mean, like I said, the thing not to do is just to share a link. And I see this all the time. Someone's just shared an article. You've read a great article in, I don't know, a media site. It's newsworthy. So you hit share, or you've shared it from either directly or from the LinkedIn feed from someone else's content. But if you're doing that, I don't know why you like it. Why are you sharing it? Like if you're sharing an article about what's not working in video marketing right now, sure, I can consume the content and get it for myself. But I kind of want to know what you think, because you can put your brand on that. And it's almost lazy marketing, really. If you're time poor and you find content creation really difficult, or you don't have any, you think you've got no ideas, you've got nothing to say. Clearly, I struggle with that issue.
We both do.
Yeah. I've never got anything to say at all. Never, ever. Obviously being a little bit facetious here. But if you struggle with content, and I do get that it is hard, because I used to struggle with content. Before I found my voice. And then some of it can be imposter syndrome, being judged, all those sorts of things that come up when you put yourself out there. But when you curate other people's content and you put your thoughts to it, it's the fastest content you can create, because you're actually using someone else's content to put your thoughts on. So you can share your expertise through your comments with someone else's content. So it's a win-win. Now, a couple of things, what not to do. If you're going to curate someone's content, don't try and pass it off as your own. Now, if you're sharing a link, obviously, the link's there, so you know who's created the content because it's all in place. But to take it up a notch, why not tag the person who created the content if they are on LinkedIn? So that, firstly, you're acknowledging them and you're letting people know that's the person or the organisation that created, and you're inviting them into the conversation. Yeah. So part of that invite is at mentioning them. Yeah,
I can see that being a slight problem. People sharing YouTube videos now that are not theirs, but it relates to their point of view or their niche, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think that can be a little bit disingenuous, I think.
Well, it depends on, I suppose, what your point of view is. I mean, if you're completely disagreeing with someone, or you've got to think about relationships, but it's a way to get started. I'm not saying only do that.
Oh, no.
It's a way to get started, get content moving. And you might choose to do it in between. Like if I often share other people's content around LinkedIn, like other LinkedIn specialists. If I see someone write an awesome piece about a new feature and they've just articulated it in a really awesome way, rather than me just stealing their idea and writing my own blog, I could share their blog with my thoughts. I'm also building a relationship as well with them, which is a good thing. So it comes down to your objective. If you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, particularly if you're an up-and-coming expert in your industry, you might want to kind of collaborate in a very... They don't know they're collaborating with you, though. You're collaborating... We're going to call it an uncollaboration.
An uncollaboration. A one-way collab?
Yes. There's probably a name for this already, I'm sure. But you're collaborating with people that they don't know about yet. Because you're lending their credibility. You're taking advantage of their credibility with yourself. But obviously it's got to be done authentically. So you're doing it to build relationships. And you never know. If you do it the right way and you give credit where due, down the track, that person might become part of your tighter network. And I guess I've done that in a very authentic way. It's about authenticity. I mean, never use anybody to kind of, climb up the ladder. You've got to... That never ends well. Yes. Now, do we want to talk about the big what not to do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
So
That's what I'm waiting for.
So the thing not to do, now I'm saying it's all good to share now, but keep in mind that people are still lazy. So the algorithm doesn't penalise links so much. It's more the user is going to penalise the links. But if you share a link to something, if I share a link to your blog on your website and you haven't set an image as the feature image, or you've got no images on that blog, if I share the link, it's going to be really ugly.
Right.
And not because your face is in it. That was gold. It's because it's going to look ugly because Reg's face isn't in it. See, I'm paying you a compliment now.
Oh, it's too late.
It's going to be ugly because it hasn't got a visual. So part of capturing attention is having that image. So if there's no image, or worse than that, it's a really bad image.
So you don't get a chance to scroll through the images? Well,
no.
So it just selects one automatically?
Pretty much. And it's generally, and I'm thinking WordPress because I'm familiar with that platform, but when you publish to the WordPress blog, you set the featured image.
Yep.
So if you've got 5 images in your blog, you go, that's the one I want to feature. So when it's shared to social media or elsewhere,
it comes up.
It picks it up. Now, if that image is really bad quality, it's blurry, or it's tiny, when it comes up in LinkedIn, it's going to be small like a thumbnail. And often people will say to me, why is that small and that one's big? And it's because of the size and the quality. So if the person,
size matters?
Size matters, Reg.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And quality matters, more importantly.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that it's got the right image. Now, if it's not your blog you're curating from, you're kind of at the mercy of the platform. So you won't know until you actually go in and go to post it.
Right.
So I would probably just put the link in first, see what it looks like, and if you're happy with how it looks, then proceed. And, I mean, also it's good practice to write your content out on LinkedIn anyway. I mean, if you're writing a post and you're summarising that piece or putting your thoughts on that content, I would be writing it in Google Docs, in Pages, in Word, wherever you work anyway, copy and paste it into LinkedIn, because I've done this myself, particularly on the mobile app. I've written this awesome piece and then the app's just gone, the app's either disconnected or the internet's just gone.
And you've lost it.
And there's no way of going back to it then, and you lose those awesome thoughts. So do it outside of LinkedIn. So if you put the link in first, it will give you a preview as to what the link what the link looks like. And if it's ugly, then you want to then do the edit hack.
Right.
Go back to that one and create it as a post with an image. I would create your own image, take control and maybe create a branded image in Canva or whatever you're doing. Something that communicates the value of the piece of content. So image plus text, post, 3 dots, edit, read the article here and put the link, and maybe mention the person if it's relevant, put the hashtags in, all that. So that's the time I would go back to the edit hack when you can't control the preview image. Or if we go use YouTube as an example, or there's no thumbnail, so it might just be whatever it's grabbed from the video.
So if you're sharing videos that are not yours, then you're at the mercy of that person regarding their title and their thumbnail.
And they may not understand how to use, how to optimize YouTube, and they might need your help, Reg.
I'd say so.
So I will send them your way. Or if they've created a thumbnail and it's just too small, or there's just too much detail, or it's just not very good, or it's just ugly, like the colours just clash. I know, some people don't have good design. So you might just go, I don't really want to use this because it doesn't really it doesn't sell the content, and match your brand as well.
Yep. Awesome. So let's know in the comments whether you share links. Have you shared links? Do you share links? Have you noticed any difference? What impact has this change going to have? Let me know what you think. What do you reckon, Joe? You got any questions for them?
For you or for them?
For them.
For them. What questions do I have?
What do you want to know?
What do I want to know? I want to know, what success you've had from link sharing. If you've noticed the engagement increase, because that's the biggest one you'll see. So if you are sharing links, are they engaging? Yep. And if they're not engaging, look at your content. Yep.
Good tips, Joe.
Yeah.
Good tips. Thanks for watching. We really do appreciate it.
We do.
We're all about helping you grow your business, helping you build connections and build relationships. So, that's what we're all about. So, subscribe maybe.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
It's a nice channel.
Yeah, we're friendly.
We are. And we sit on the couch and have a chat each week.
Yep.
Sometimes we have guests.
We do. We've got a guest coming up relatively soon.
We have.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for next week, and we'll see you then.
See you then.